What's up, everyone? Welcome to Cracka Season 3, Episode 14, I believe. Um, Small review, nice haul, stuff to talk about. But before I do that, I want to thank two new subscribers of mine. Large 23 Collectibles, thanks for subscribing. And Bruce Wayne, thanks for subscribing. It's nice to have Batman aboard. Um, Wednesday, unfortunately, I was a dumbass and I totally forgot my camera, but I was able to go see the 10 o'clock showing of G.I. Joe Retaliation, and I have to tell you that that movie was friggin' awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. You don't even need to see the first one to understand what's going on in this one. That's how cool it is. It was just unbelievable. I saw it in IMAX 3D, and it was amazing. It's absolutely amazing. All the fight scenes kicked ass. They fixed a lot of plot holes. They had a lot of characters in the vehicles. It was great. And they gave you a poster when you went in, which is kind of funny because I thought it was just Cobra, but it's a friggin' advertisement to buy the G.I. Joe Retaliation on Blu-ray already. And I was like, wow, really? I was like, that's pretty quick. But on the back, this is the cool part, it's the actual poster. It's got Snake Eyes, Bruce Willis, Cobra Commander. So it's pretty cool. I got two of those. You got a chance to go with my friends. Like I said, I was going to videotape it. And as I was leaving the house, my cousin picked me up. I was leaving the house, was halfway there, and I'm like, crap, forgot my camera. So that's my bad. But it was fun. Like I said, my friends, my cousin had a great time. My cousin Kevin went with us. My friend Vinny, my friend Jake, my friend John, my friend Nicole, my friend Vinny's father. We all had a great time. We were all sitting there like little kids. Oh my God, yeah, oh yeah, screaming. But it was cool. It was a lot of fun. And let's get into review. Well, actually, another one. I forgot. I got a chance to watch Arrow the next day, which was really cool with a vigilante. It's like using the subway. It was interesting, but it was a cool episode with Speedy and Roy Harper. But moving on. Green Lantern New Guardians number 18, which is actually a pretty cool looking cover. I'm loving this first Lantern thing. I just think he's cool that he's an emotional vampire, basically. I'm looking forward to see how it plays out and how everything else kind of, like what happens with the Guardians and all this stuff. But this was a pretty cool issue. It basically focuses on Star Sapphire. It kind of gives her a world where her father didn't die and she was still part of the Air Force, and he's trying to like really kind of, feed off of her emotions. She's kind of giving him a little bit, but not a lot. And in this particular book, he's not revealing himself, which is interesting because the other ones, he kind of shows himself and he's like, hey, why aren't you doing this? Or I'm giving you a better life. Why don't you, go along with it or whatever it is. But in these, he's kind of staying to the shadows and not doing anything. The best one though, that was in here that was really really cool, was Larafleeze, I think his name is, the Orange Lantern. And he shows him like a world where his I guess his home world is still around, or his family's still around, and it's his son's birthday. And and everyone's like, happy birthday, I forget what the kid's name was. And he's like, thank you, Daddy, or he's like, here's a present, open this one first. And he goes to give it to him, and the kid's like, thank you so much, and takes it, but he won't let go of it. And he's like, Daddy, and he's like, no, it's mine. And he's like, oh, it's kind of like I always think of him as Gollum, precious, smile, across to us, And the first Lantern kind of freezes. He's like, freeze. He's like, stop. And he's like, what the hell is wrong with you? He's like, every single life I've given you, you turn around and still become greedy. He's like, what did the Orange Lantern do to you? And he shows him another thing where he's a Blue Lantern rather than an Orange Lantern. So he's like, I'll make you a Blue Lantern, and you won't have the power of the Orange Lantern, so you'll be a different thing, and you'll, feed me the emotions I want. And he's the Blue Lantern, and he's flying around, and he's like, go ahead, take your revenge on this person, whatever it is. And he actually grabs, I think he grabs like something. I forget what he grabs. He's in space, and he grabs something, and he looks right at the first Lantern. He's like, my emotions are my own, and he kind of like just flies away. And he's like, and now I realize, he goes, it wasn't the Lantern that did this to you. He goes, you're always like that. But it was cool. It was very, very cool. It was a good read. Moving on to Justice League of America number 2. This one was another cool one. A lot of funny little jokes here and there. Catwoman talks about her boobs. Was it Hawkman shows up with blood covered him and vibes like, you got blood all over you, and he's like, it's not my blood, and he kind of moves to the side. But the thing that's pissing me off is I'm going to show you. It's just kind of annoying that they pull this crap off, but it shows, it's got the story, which is cool, and then it's got this, after the story, it's kind of got like a little bonus kind of story about the Martian Manhunter, which is about 5 pages, which isn't that bad, it kind of talks about stuff. But what annoys me is they're doing the exact same thing they've done with the other ones, is these stupid previews, which is another 5 pages of previews. Like, for this time, it's for Action Comics. But it's like, man, I don't need a 5-page preview in every single book, of everything. I just think they're looking at it as that Superman might not be making the money that they wanted to make, and they're just kind of, hey, here you go, buy it. This is what it looks like. Someone buy it, please. But yeah, this was basically all about just like forming the team and letting them get a chance to know each other. But it was cool. It was a good read. And last of the reviews, Red Hood and the Outlaws number 18. This was a really cool book. It just basically goes about everything with Jason Todd, like he's kind of in Wayne Manor, and now I figured out what happened to him. The Joker, it was acid that was burned painted into his mask, and it fried his skin off. And Alfred kind of fixed him, but he's like, you got to get him to a hospital. And Bruce Wayne's like, no, he can't go to a hospital. The Joker burnt his face off. He needs to be here. And you see Jason Todd kind of in like this weird like dream kind of realm. And his teacher that brought him back, kind of brought him back from the brink, I guess. It's just keep going over stuff like, you have to let people in. You have to, it's your own fault. This is, it's not the Joker. You keep blaming the Joker, and he goes, when it's really you. But it was just a really good book. It was cool. My haul. Let's go into that. These first two are replacements because the ones that I had gotten were damaged. Batman Detective Comics number 18, replacement issue, and this is pretty good because the first thing when I got it, I opened it up. I'm looking for it because the original one I have, when you go to the second page, got a huge like cut mark going down. The third page was folded over. It was just destroyed. So this one's in great condition. So I'm happy. And this is Batman number 18. It's another replacement issue. When I got this from Midtown, this whole side here was folded over, and it was just shot, and that just pissed me off to no end. So this one's actually in great shape. Moving on to some new stuff. Batman: The Dark Knight number 18, the Mad Hatter. That's an awesome cover where he's stepping out of Batman. He's got like his foot coming out of his chest and his arms coming out of his arm. Just really messing with you. Cool cover. Talon number 6. Which once this story arc's over, I think I'm just pretty much done with Talon. Even though it's a good book, like I said, I have to cut a lot of things, and then now my fiance's kind of like really kind of cracking the whip. She's like, you have to really rein it in and pick a few things that you want to keep, and then the rest are going to have to wait till another time when we move and get everything straightened out and all that stuff, which is fine. It just, I always have that. I mean, like I said, I'm weird like that. I always have this one thing in the back of my head. I'm like, I'm going to stop collecting these, and then I'm going to miss the one big book, and I'm like, then it's going to be a bitch to get, and like the one really cool book, and it's like, oh, you missed number 8 or you missed number 7. This had the awesomest story in it, and then you try to get it, it's like $100,000, Anyway, this is another one that's just a cool cover. It was another limit one per person. Teen Titans number 18. Very cool. Red Robin with the old suit. Really curious to see what happened to him. This is Wrath of the First Lantern Part 8. Red Lanterns number 18. Interesting looking cover. Injustice, God Among Us, based on the upcoming video game sensation, number 3. The second one was friggin' amazing, so I had to get the third one. And last but not least for DC anyway, Batman Incorporated, number 9. This was another one that was one per customer. So that's just a sick cover. Obviously Batman standing over a grave. Is it Damien's? I think so. Moving on to some Marvel. Guardians of the Galaxy #1. And because I'm sick like this, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Midtown Comics exclusive, which I was a little disappointed in a way. I mean, it is kind of funny, but the actual book they had on there saying Guardians of the Galaxy Midtown exclusive was Deadpool, but it was like a can of Campbell's, because it's by Campbell did this, and I was like, that's a really cool cover. But then you get this one, but it's cool because on the bottom, Deadpool was saying, "Really, Iron Man, the Avengers weren't enough for you." So there's that. The only thing that sucks is I ordered the baby variant because I thought it was really cool with Rocket Raccoon spraying the tree, and I didn't get that one in the shipment, so I'm hoping it comes around the next shipment. Guess we'll see. I don't know what happened, but Age of Ultron. What is this, book 3? I think. Yeah, book 3. Curious to see what happens with this. Interesting so far. It's kind of, the first two are just like, what? Hopefully this one is much better than the last one, because the last one was the only one that really sucked. But this is A+X #6 with Gambit versus the Thing, and I guess Wolverine teams up with Miss Marvel. This is just this cover freaked out my fiance. She's like, "What the hell is that?" But I'm enjoying this series so far. I'm surprised. Morbius the Living Vampire #3 really freaked her out. She's like, "What the hell?" First she thought he was giving us the finger, and then she's like, "That's creepy." But yeah, this is actually really cool. Like, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is, and so far it's been cool. Just like Superior Spider-Man, you're like, wow. It's, speaking of which, this is Superior Spider-Man. It's the Age of Ultron tie-in #6, which is kind of interesting how they're, like, back in the day when they had a tie-in, it's strictly, whatever number, like the tie-in is #6. This, they have a separate #6 than the tie-in, which is, I just thought it was interesting. But Uncanny X-Force #3. Interesting series again, another one. And this cover I absolutely loved. I thought it was really, really cool. And I'm excited because of the characters they put in here. And I love this series. This is one that I'm going to continue with no matter what. It's Uncanny Avengers #5. And they put my man, Wonder Man, in there. And they have the Wasp and Sunfire. But Wonder Man, I always liked Wonder Man. To this day, I still don't know why. I just think he's really cool looking. But that is a really cool looking cover. I saw the variant. The variant was cool, but this is just, I just thought this one was so much better. And this one I got because I still want to find out what happens to the dog. This is Wolverine the X-Men #27. And this series I'm still liking, even though I dropped Fantastic Four. I'm still going to keep this one. This is the FF #5. Let's see what goes on with Medusa. These have been really funny, and this is actually one that I hope is just as cool as it looks, because I always like that story. But it's Deadpool Illustrated #3, A Christmas Carol. It's really cool. And then I got a couple back issues. I got, which I thought I had, but I guess I never got. Looking forward to reading this one. This is Spider-Man #26, the hologram. I was going through my Spider-Man comics, I guess, like I said in a previous episode, and I was like, oh yeah, go through them, like, just to make sure I know what I have, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like I have Spider-Man 1, I think through, like 1 to 40, and I didn't have 26. I'm like, wow, that sucks. Moving on. This is one that I had, but it was shot, destroyed, ripped, shredded. I don't know. But it's Amazing Spider-Man 359, which now I'm down to 2 more late issues I need of the 300s, and I'm completely done with that. So I'm going by my friend's advice. You fill in a certain run, or you fill in a certain set of numbers. He's like, with Amazing Spider-Man, especially the lower issues, they're really, really expensive, and even now, these upper issues are getting really expensive. So it's kind of good. He's like, you gotta take the wins. He's like, if you complete all the 300s, he's like, consider that a win. He's like, you got one section down. And of course, if the 300s, if you have Amazing Spider-Man 300, He's like, that's a pretty big book, to have, so it's kind of cool to have that one out of the way. And it's not a bad idea. And last but not least, this just makes me laugh, and I just think it's a cool cover. It's What the number 3, Spider Ham versus Raven the Hunter. Near mint. I saw this thing. It was a really, really good price. I was just looking through stuff on Midtown, and I was like, wow. I was like, that really is cheap. And I was gonna buy the other ones, but I want to see how this one goes before I buy the other ones. And basically, I bought it for the cover. I just thought it was a funny ass cover. It's Spider Ham. But yeah, that will do it for my huge haul. I have another extremely large haul coming next week. Hopefully, my baby variant will be in there. I usually don't always go for the baby variants, but some of them are pretty funny and pretty cool looking. So I had to get that Guardians one because that was just funny. But anyway, if you like what you see, please hit the like button. If you like what you see, subscribe, comment away, question away, go crazy, do whatever you want. Happens. And it's not the size you make if it matters. It's what you have in it, and what I have in it is a lot of organizing still to do. Later.